Hi, this is Real Men Unscripted with D&D, Derek and Domingo. We hope you enjoy this podcast.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Real Men Unscripted. I'm Derek.
And I'm Domingo. Welcome back.
And as you can see, we got a guest, Alan Underwood.
Thank you for having me.
Our good friend, podcaster, well, I'll let you. How about Alan's going to introduce himself?
My name's Alan Underwood, retired Metro police officer, same as this guy here. He was in L.A., so we don't count him.
And he's still working.
Yeah, he's still
I was in L.A., though.
Or no.
Northern California.
Northern California, okay. Yeah, I mean, I've been retired 3 years now, just working, coaching basketball, doing a podcast. I'm not used to being on video, so I'm a little nervous, I guess. We don't do video because this face is not made for video.
What are you talking about?
Right, the beard. Yeah, we got to grow a beard when you retire, right?
Yep. Got to have a long beard.
That's about it.
I can't grow a beard, so I'll be screwed.
Well, you got that little
I
fuzz
got
going.
goatee, but
Yeah,
I just got to get bald now.
Oh, no, that was my kids.
I'm headed there now. I got the
Right.
cul-de-sacs going.
Right.
So why don't you tell them the podcast so they can start following? It's a good one.
Yeah, Christian Men Unscripted. It's a podcast we started about 10 months ago. We did it for like a ministry. We wanted to, me, two other guys, John and Seth, they're pastors. One's in Boulder City, one's in Mount Charleston. And it's kind of how we wanted to start a ministry as far as men, being men and being Jesus followers. Because you don't see a lot of that. I mean, you see more now, but growing up, I didn't see a lot of men that I looked up to as Jesus followers. I put it on my podcast all the time. I just saw my grandma, potlucks, bingo nights. I was like, oh, men stayed home, watch football, which I really want to watch football on Sundays, but that's why that's why I like having Hope where we go on Thursday during football season. So yeah, and then I got a Steeler fan and a Cowboy fan. I'm a Browns fan. So. Should have brought my helmet. So yeah, the podcast, Christian Men Unscripted, kind of sounds like yours. People have actually confused it. They're like, wait, I was talking to, I think it was Scott. We went on a hike with the kids. He goes, wait. I go, no, that's Derek and Domingo's. So.
Well, to let everyone know, like when me and our main man here, Jerry,
First started
it, we came to you.
Yep.
So this all started, right, with your help, telling us what equipment to get, things like that. And I did steal 2 out of the 3 names, I guess you could say.
And I don't mind at all, man. It's not about that at all.
Real Men Unscripted, so it was hard to come up with like a name that I. Right. So anyhow, your name.
Just so you know, I had nothing to do with the name. I came in later.
It does not bother me one bit, man.
So Jerry and I are appreciative of you letting us come over back then and sending us information on what you ordered and so I've ordered a lot of stuff that that you had that was working. So we really appreciate it, and so we wanted to get you on there, to thank you, plus promote yours. Yeah. Because I do listen to yours. So so since you both were Metro.
Yep.
Were you ever on Cops?
They rode with me quite often, but I only had one person sign the waiver, and then her dad was a lawyer and got it nixed. But they rode with me several times. Great people, great guys.
So there's film out there?
There is film out there.
Oh,
yeah, they rode with me several times.
I'm going to have to talk to Mr. Langley.
Yeah, there's film. Yep.
Now, did you guys ever work together? So people don't know Metro's a big department.
No.
You guys probably didn't even know each other, right?
Knew the name. I heard the name, but I didn't know.
Same. I think we have a friend in common.
Not bad.
No, Orlando Villanueva.
Yeah. Orlando. Yeah. I was just thinking about him.
Because he was in your academy, right?
He was in my academy, yeah.
So when I told him that I was going to church with Alan Underwood, he's like, hey, that guy's from my academy. I'm like, well, he's going to church now, too. When are you going to start?
Yeah. Known Orlando a little.
See, our department, everybody knew each other because we had like 50, 60.
And even now, people are like, hey, do you know? And I'm like, if they've been on less than 10, 15 years, I wouldn't know.
Oh, yeah. My son, he had a call yesterday with 2 guys, Reynolds and Scoop, something like that. So he tells them, who he is, and they're like, man, I see your name. It looks familiar. And apparently both of these guys know me. I'm sorry if I forgot you guys, but...
Wait, there wasn't a Lucero in my academy.
Sean.
Yes, that's what it was.
He's my brother from another mother.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't remember these two kids.
Okay.
You know, I'm gonna call them kids because they got under 5 years. I'm assuming.
Right.
So.
I wouldn't know. I did the last 5 or 6 years or so at the airport, so I don't know a lot of people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was great.
My goodness, you should have stayed for another 5.
No, I was ready to go. I was ready to go. I'm enjoying life. It was perfect.
So how many years did you?
I did 23.
And you did?
I did 25.
25. And who started first at it?
I did.
Yeah, I was 99 is when I started.
Yeah, and I started the process 96 and
okay.
ended up hiring on the streets 97.
Yeah.
So Domingo makes more retirement money than you.
Yeah, but I'm getting my first raise.
Yeah.
September.
He's going to get it before because he retired first.
Oh.
But my contract was the last good contract.
Yeah.
So ours just started taking stuff away.
No, mine was good, yeah. My last one was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you have to do 33 years. I couldn't
33 and a
imagine.
third.
I couldn't imagine.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's no way.
You know, to
Imagine.
pay that PERS.
Being a cop at 60?
No. Well, that's the key. I mean,
How does it feel being a cop at 60?
I will be close when I'm done, I'm sure.
yeah.
I will be like
It never changes. Retired, still working.
Yeah. I retired at 48, so I was happy. I
Yeah.
want to enjoy
That's
that.
young. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you would have been like me if you would have done the
Yeah.
25, 50.
I would've been 50.
Yeah, it was 25, 50. Yeah.
Yep. There was a number I was looking at, and PERS told me the number. And it
10
was more than I
grand a
thought.
month.
I was like, yep, I'm gone. See ya.
Okay, now I got to ask.
Just so we
have
know,
you
these
found
guys
a-
make triple what I make. That's
have
why
you
I'm still
found another
working.
job?
Well, I was working at Lake Mead Christian Academy as security because my daughter was going there, and then I was coaching basketball and teaching a Bible class, 8th grade boys. But I retired after this year. I stopped.
Oh,
I
really?
might still coach basketball, but I'm not going to work
For the school.
for the school.
What? I haven't heard that on your podcast yet. Have you promoted that on your podcast?
No.
I knew about it. Because I wanted to
didn't.
hire with them.
So you're
The security portion.
I mean, they're hearing it now for the first time, but I guess you'll announce it on your podcast. But so you're not going to go back to the school?
No, I might do basketball, but when basketball season comes, if I'm
It's
happy,
over.
I might not.
Now, can you coach without being
Yes.
an employee there?
Yeah, you can. And they kind of want me to, so
Nice.
it was fun.
And this is boys
So
and
you-
girls or just?
I coached JV boys, and then I only coached middle school. I coached middle school girls after JV boys because they couldn't find anybody. And I was like, oh, this is going to be – but it was one of the best experiences I had.
Nice.
I'll tell you what, coaching girls opposed to boys is totally different. And they're middle school, 8th, 7th, 8th graders,
Yeah.
but they work hard. I was
Really?
impressed with those girls, yeah.
And they
So
learn faster, right?
They learn faster,
Yeah.
they work hard, and they give 100%. Boys, I mean, I'm a boy. My son's 20. He played baseball. A lot of the times it was about didn't care if you won or lost. It was like, hey, how did you do?
Yeah.
But the girls, if they lost, they were upset, all of them. So
Well, if you
I was
tell
like,
my kids, the ride home was the worst.
Flat. It's so flat. I don't even know. You don't even look good while you're singing.
oh, mine too.
Because they played baseball, basketball, football, and they said we hated the ride home because it was all,
Same.
critique.
Flat.
It wasn't bad critique, but they took it as bad.
Yeah, no.
Dad, I scored 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. Leave me alone.
Yeah. My son, it was baseball. I'm like, I told you never to swing at that.
Yeah.
Look at third strike. I was like, oh, man.
You didn't hit the cutoff, man.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not playing baseball. I'm like, all right, I'll leave you alone.
So since we're on that topic, married, how long, how many kids, how old?
Married 32 years.
Oh, congratulations.
51. My son is 20. He'll be 21 in September. 17-year-old daughter who was at Lake Mead, but she's going back to Liberty next year for her senior year.
Oh, nice.
What else? 2 dogs. That's about it. Yeah.
Nice.
Anything
And-
else that I missed?
No, wife,
Yeah,
kids.
wife, kids, married.
don't
Go to
say
Hope
50
Church?
Oh, I'm 51 years
Just
old.
don't say current wife.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm listening to your podcast, and now I do say that to my wife.
He does not let me live it down.
Yeah,
On there?
that was
Does it
funny.
sound okay?
Yeah. Well, my wife hasn't heard it, but she says when I hear it, I'm going to be mad. So sorry again, babe. I apologize.
Yeah, no, I've got only one wife as well. We got married when we were 19. We met in 10th grade, 11th grade. We met in 11th grade. She was going to basic. I went to Valley. We met at Wendy's. We worked at Wendy's.
Basic
together.
Valley, that's a big
Yeah, yeah.
difference, bro.
But we worked at Wendy's together up by the movie theater up there on the Galaxy Theater,
Oh, okay.
Sunset.
Yeah.
And she worked the hot bar, I worked the cold bar, or vice versa. And I was like, hey, pretty good looking. You want to go out? She said no, but I kept asking.
So you're like Pastor Scott. We had him on
Yeah,
here.
I saw that.
Are you a transplant or are you born and raised here?
No, I'm a transplant. I'm from Ohio, Youngstown, Ohio.
There for the Browns.
There for the Browns. I came out here in 8th grade. My parents got divorced. Actually, I came out here a lot earlier with my mom when they got divorced. But my mom was kind of a mess at the time. And my dad came and actually kidnapped me, kind of, from school. And I hitchhiked with my dad all the way back to Ohio.
Wait, kidnapped?
That was on a
He took me out of school.
Hitchhiked?
Yep. And he's like, "You're coming with me." We hitchhiked. I lived with grandparents and cousins. I lived with all them for a while until my dad got himself together.
In Ohio.
And I actually lived in Dallas for like 8 years.
You're not a Cowboys fan.
Always a Browns fan. My first Browns game that I watched was the '88, the drive with John Elway, and I've been a fan ever since.
Really?
And it's heartbreak ever since.
Nice. So you're a Kozar fan.
Bernie Kosar, yep.
Yep.
Yep, Bernie Kosar, Kevin Mack, Ernest Miner.
That team was good.
Icky was Bengals.
That was Bengals.
But he was UNLV, though.
Yeah, he
I mean,
was UNLV, but he
yeah,
wasn't
Nicky
that good in the
Shuffle.
NFL. He stunk.
He was all right. Nicky
I
Shuffle.
liked his dance, Nicky Shuffle.
He'll post a Nicky Shuffle.
Yeah.
Did he play with Randall Cunningham? No, right? Randall was right
No, I
before
don't
him,
know.
right?
That I don't know. I was a UNLV fan, but I don't remember. I think Randall was before.
And then that gangbanger dude that was there too.
Oh, Suge Knight.
Yeah,
Suge Knight was there, yeah.
He was a
Yeah,
lineman
UNLV.
for the Rebels.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So, since you guys are both retired Metro, he had no idea about like doing the podcast till Jerry wanted to be behind the scenes. But when did you? So John, just so people know, John, he's now passed, but he's an ex Metro guy as well,
Yep. He's retired as well. Homicide sergeant.
and
Narcotics.
now
He
he's
did a lot more than I did.
doing pastor, stuff. And then you have the other gentleman,
Seth
that's
Lazon is
Seth,
on there,
that's actual pastor.
Pastor in Boulder
But
City.
who out of the three of you, whose idea was it to start the podcast?
It was my idea. I talked to John. We always had conversations. We go to Einstein Bagel, have conversations, laugh. He's the one who really brought me to Christ. Like we'd work overtime. Do you remember water treatment plant overtime?
Yeah.
We worked strip bikes and we'd get overtime at the water treatment plant. He's like, man, he gave me a Bible. And it's funny is I just found that Bible that he gave me. I had never opened it. I opened it. I'm like, this is the first time I think I opened this Bible. I showed it to him.
It didn't
He
crack?
goes, no. Yeah, it did. It kind of like, it did. It was so old. And he goes, hey, when we were at the water treatment plant, I knew he was a Christian. I knew he was into going to church. He told me about his church. And he's like, all you need to know is that Jesus died on the cross for your sins. And as long as you believe and have faith in that, you're saved. I'm like, that's perfect. I do. But then I just went on with my life. But that always resonated with me. I was like, perfect. I'm good. I'm going to do what I want. I believe in Christ. But it was not until I started going to Hope that I really understood what it was like to have a relationship with Jesus. And that totally changed my whole life. And then talking to John, I'm like, hey, our conversations are really good. And it's humorous, but we also glorify the Lord. Yeah. We should do a podcast so men in this world understand that you can have the problems that we have. I suffer from every day trying to live the life that I was supposed to live, but I fail from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, but I know that I'm saved and I know that I have that relationship, so it's much easier for me to have a good life. And I changed my whole social being. Like I used to go out drinking and going to watch football and stuff, and now I don't do that. Now the community that I have is people at church, and my life is so much brighter. It's so much better. Even like my health is better just by following the Lord. I'm like, I just want to be a better person. And we did this on the podcast yesterday. We were talking about, it was, I think a Muslim girl asked our football coaches on our next podcast.
Is that like a part two?
It's a part two
okay.
with
I'll say that part one was awesome.
Yeah, this one I think is better. That was
it.
more of his bio. This one he was talking about how just kids come up to him and they're like, they're Muslim young ladies, and they're like, well, if all you need is to believe that Jesus died on the cross, why don't you just live how you want to live? But he's like, well, once you have that relationship, you wanna continue it. You don't want him to be disappointed in you.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, that's exactly it. It's like my kids want to do right by me, and they don't want me to be disappointed in them. That's how God is. Yeah. And when they mess up, and trust me, my kids have messed up, I still love them the same, and that's how God loves us. So that's the understanding I didn't have all those years.
Right.
So when exactly was the transformation, though? Because you said that John was the one that opened the door for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know we've had conversations before about it, where your daughter, remember how you said
she was going.
She was problems. A big part of it. Of you actually committing yourself fully and submitting to him.
Yeah,
Go a little bit into that.
Yeah, it was my daughter. We were having issues during COVID. She's up in her room, and as a parent, you're like, oh, they're fine in their room, but I don't think about the things that they get into, social media wise and stuff, and that's a whole nother topic. But I saw a meme or something. It said, when you give your kids a phone and social media, you open them up to the world, but you also open the world up to them.
Yep.
And I didn't realize the world was coming at my 15-year-old daughter the way it was, and she was struggling, and I was struggling, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And I was a very angry person because you hold it all in as a police officer. You got to be calm. So I could be really calm, and people even tell me, I don't know how you're calm because you're very calm. I was not calm at home.
But inside, you're burning.
I was not calm at home, but I was never rude to her. But my son, car rides home from baseball, just in general, I would, because he's a boy, I'm like, hey, I would grab him by and just like, you need to do what you're supposed to do. You need to stop being lazy. You need to stop doing this. And then, road rage and this and MF and this and cursing here. And I mean, my whole vocabulary was curse words, And she just told me one day, she goes, you're just angry and I don't want to be around you. And I was like, I'm not angry. I'm never mad at you. She's like, it doesn't matter. You're scary to be around. You get mad if there's dishes in the sink and you start breaking things. I'm like, huh. So I'm like, I told my wife, I go, hey, we stopped going to church during COVID. I'm like, I don't want to watch it online because I don't pay attention. But Hope had just opened, kind of started bringing people back in. I'm like, we moved. Let's go to Hope. Let's go back to Hope. Let's go.
So you were going before?
I was going to Green Valley Baptist, which was fine, but it was farther away, and it was one of those churches where
right around the corner from my house.
Yeah, a little bit older group of people.
Congregation.
Yeah. So we just went. We went home. For 10 years we went there, and I just went. I never got connected. I never got community. I never did anything. Went to Hope. It was one day, and I just started listening, and I'm like, all right, I see that there's and Scott was preaching at the time. Vance wasn't, so I didn't even know Vance was a pastor. So I was like, oh, I like that guy. Whatever. And my wife's like, oh, yeah, that's pretty good. We'll go back next week. And then we went back next week, and it was somebody else. It was another one. I don't remember who it was at the time. It wasn't Vance again.
The one before, after him, that took over after him, maybe?
Yeah.
What was his name?
Oh, you put me on the spot. It's
yeah, and it doesn't matter.
His brothers does
Travis.
Travis
Oval.
Travis Oval.
I was like, oh, that was really good. So then they had a membership class. I'm like, let's join this membership class. Let's go. And my wife's like, it's 4 weeks. He's like, what are you going to teach you in 4 weeks? And I'm like, oh, it's a big church. You got a lot to learn, I guess. I don't know. So, but Pastor Gene was in there. He was doing this, giving the class, and that's where I really learned what it meant. That you can come to church all you want, but until you have that relationship, you're never going to know what God wants from you.
So for people, it's called Discovering Hope at Hope Church. That's the new membership class that Pastor Gene and Patrick, kind of mostly Gene, was doing. Now Jordan's doing it, but
and these guys are two hosts for that.
I was, yeah. That was work. Discovering I couldn't keep up with text messages and group meetings. I was like, I can only do this so often.
He was actually my host when I did Discovering.
Yeah, I loved hosting, and
I did too.
You do the group, you get. Yeah. I still have a lot of those groups together.
We still have a lot of friends that we talk to from that little table.
Yeah. I mean, that's one big thing I like about Hope is the community part.
Yeah.
Patrick and Gene just really promote that well.
Yeah. And
they got a lot of good things because the whole getting connected small group.
Right.
Pastor Patrick pushes it, but it's important. I never was part of any group, but he pushed it, and now I'm part of a group, one in Christ.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, like I was missing out. Same thing with volunteering. They push volunteering, whether it's hotel outreach with the kids, whatever it is. Like Hope
we
is
still
really
need to get you plugged in full time on something.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, come to Hope students. That's what I do. You want to talk about work and fun at the same time?
So if you're Hope students, you probably see my son Kevin all the time.
Do I see Kevin? I see his son all the time. He's in my group.
Kevin, he's grown.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I didn't know he was until like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
I went up to him at church. I was like, Domingo's son.
Oh, if I seen him, what grade is he in?
He's the big bus guy.
I don't know what grade he does, but
as soon as you see him, you're like, oh.
Oh, okay.
Barrel-chested, big guy.
Yeah.
All right.
After the podcast, I'll show you a picture, and you'll know who he is.
Yeah. But yeah, he volunteers on all of that stuff, and I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. But then I look at time schedules. I'm like, yeah, you got the time. I don't.
Yeah.
So,
but I am gonna get connected more.
What made you like these retired guys? I don't know. I wasn't able to. I took 6 weeks off.
Yeah.
Went to a Steelers game, things like that. Actually, 2 Steeler games, but like I knew I was going to be working at UNLV PD, so I didn't have the retired in my mind. But what made you decide you were like gonna leave the school? Because you just like are wanting to just be home more, or are you trying to concentrate more on the podcast?
Podcast is part of it. We're trying to like take it. Like
To the next
my
level.
my goal was to get a good base before we even try to go video YouTube, because I mean, you got Jerry. I have no idea what I'm doing. I've tried it with phones and this and that. It's awful. So I was like, I have more time. But also my daughter wanted to go back to Liberty High School for her senior year because she only has to take 2 classes a day. She gets out by 10. If she's staying at Lake Mead, she would get out at like 1. And she's like, I want to work. I'm like, oh, let me look into it. She gave me a list of pros and cons. She's like, hey, I know the community here at the school is great and this and that, but I really want to just work. I'll serve more at Hope. She wants to serve at the Hub. I'm like, okay, as long as you stay connected that way, I'm allowing it. And then it's so far from me. Like Lake Mead is a drive, and with my truck, I was probably putting out more gas than I was getting paid. So I'm like, you know what?
You didn't buy a Tesla?
So she
I would never buy a Tesla.
She didn't
I see
think-
them drive by me. I'm like, look at this.
He's right there.
Probably him drove by me today in the shoulder. I'm just kidding.
So she didn't think does she know people from Liberty? Because
Yeah, she
a
was her
lot of
freshman
girls,
year.
especially girls.
She did her freshman year
They
there.
want to stay like with the same group of people
No,
through
she's not like
graduation.
that.
So
She's
she was okay.
very.
So you guys are zoned for Liberty.
We're
Like,
zoned
that's
for
your home
Liberty.
school?
Yep. And she went there her freshman year,
Okay.
and she has a couple friends at Lake Mead, but she never got connected like that. But she wrestles, and she does
wrestles?
jujitsu,
Nice.
and she started doing jujitsu at
what
this
dojo? Let them know.
Atlas grappling. Atlas grappling. She's over there.
Where's that? Is that in Henderson?
No, it's on Serene by Sam's Club over there.
Serene and Pebble, right?
Yeah, it's that little shopping center. If you go,
Well, Serena and
by
Pebble go the same way.
Serene and
Okay. It's Serene and
No, Maryland.
Serene and Maryland.
yeah, it's right by Silverado High School.
Atlas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she started getting connected with some younger girls there, and one of the moms told us about the coach at Liberty, and I emailed him, and he's like, hey, we'd like to have her, even if she's not eligible because she's transferring, she can still train with us, she can still, and he
She
emailed
wouldn't
me.
be eligible.
Because you have
Well,
to.
you transfer, but you can do a hardship if they don't have a girls wrestling team at Lake Mead next
And
year.
they don't, right? Or
They did last year, but I think most of the girls left, so
Oh.
we'll see. And also, I don't work there, so I don't get the discount, so she might have it.
Well, discount for what? It's Liberty Public. High
No,
School.
at Lake Mead.
Oh.
Like, yeah. So, like,
I mean, originally I heard on your podcast, and you've told me personally that you only originally were working there to help pay because your daughter was going to school.
yeah, but I really.
So she's switching.
Yeah.
If you don't need the money because you make over $10,000 a month.
That is not true.
Um,
Nowhere near that, guys.
These Metro guys, that's why they don't work.
No.
But
It's actually $15,000, bro.
yeah,
Well,
there
I was only patrol. I don't get that.
there
much.
is one of your retired sergeants.
Oh yeah.
I'd have to look up my phone. He did reserves for us at UNLV.
Yeah.
Little short dude,
Alex Cruz.
Rios or something. No, I feel like I'll look it up. I have his name, but he literally makes like 15,000
Oh, there's some.
because he is a retired sergeant, and I don't know if I think he did 25. Yeah. So, I mean, John's a retired because he was in homicide.
He makes
made even more.
Oh,
Yeah, he makes more
Oh,
than I
so
do. That's
he-
for sure.
What's the 3 top years?
Yeah.
The 3 consecutive top years that you make? Homicide?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
And you guys count the overtime because in Cali we
for
can't.
ours they did.
Yeah. For
For
especially.
for our contracts they did, but
So
now
not anymore.
That's
doesn't
another
count
reason why you
anymore.
guys make so much. Ours is just the basic.
Base,
We can't
yeah, no.
we can't add.
Well, it
You
wouldn't
can't
matter.
even live on
Matter
that.
of fact,
after you
this is
retire.
no lie. After I was retired about 5 years, I retired in 2015.
All the money
so yeah.
ran out.
No, about 5. No, about 5 years.
Ours went
I got a
bankrupt.
letter from the county saying, Alameda County, which is in like central, it's south of San
California,
Francisco, they sued PERS or something, or sued the state and won. And whatever they won affected these other counties. And what it was I lost about $100 a month for the rest of my retirement,
That's
only
sad.
because
That would make me mad.
originally on my retirement, when I did standby when I was in detectives,
Yeah.
they added that, and then they found out that they couldn't add it, so they took that away from me. And instead of taking one lump sum, they took out what they thought a
$100
portion
a month.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think
Man, I feel
will
if they
live
make that
longer
mistake-
than the 3,000 that
Yeah.
they were going to take back. But
Yeah.
I was like,
Ooh, that
I
was
think
I'm thinking they should just be like, okay, we'll just not do it for the regular people. But if you're already retired, you shouldn't have to. So
I agree.
But
I think we come upon story time.
Story time.
already, wow,
Yeah.
first episode.
Mr. Allen
Story
got a
time.
story.
I got a lot of stories.
Something that they can't come back and get you on.
Yeah, this guy's paranoid. That,
Yeah, I still want to keep my retirement.
So you got like a good
Statute
one.
of limitations got to
'Cause
be
this guy's
out.
worried about
I got a
statute
good one.
of
It's kind of
limitations.
long, but
That's
it's kind of
okay.
funny, kind of not funny.
That's all right.
So
We're ready.
Your best one first.
All right,
Yeah.
it's a police one. So it's like I worked a swing shift, so we get off at 12:30. So 11:30, I get a call. You know, at 11:30, you're kind of just winding down because
Yeah.
graveyard's out. You're working.
Trying to hide out.
But there's a call that comes in that, hey, the neighbor called his neighbor. She's a female. She lives there with her daughter alone. Her door's wide open. It's 11:30 p.m. I was like, oh, I'll take that call. I'll go see, Seems all right.
Easy
But,
call. Go
easy
home.
call. I'm like, go home. It's on the way to the station. It was right by the station. And I was like, I'll just take that call. So I get there, and that's all it says. Door's open. She's by herself. She lives with her daughter. I'm like,
Backup or no backup?
yeah, backup. But he's far away. He's coming from, like, I worked like St. Rose and all the way down to Warm Springs. I'm going to Warm Springs. He's coming from St. Rose. I'm kind of in the middle. So I get there real quick. I'm like, hey, you know what? I see the door open. I park down the street, walk up. I'm like, it's dark in there. Let me go up and just look in the door, make sure I don't hear any screaming,
Yeah.
make sure I don't hear anybody. So I was like, all right. So I go to the door and I look in. I'm like, and all of a sudden I hear, I was like, oh. I was like, and all of a sudden this dog just comes barreling down the stairs, a pit bull. And it looked huge at the time. I was like, oh. So I back up. You'd think I would have closed the door, but I didn't. I just back up and I go to the edge of the garage because I came down the driveway and I back up. I'm like, all right. Dog comes out of the house, looks both ways, sees me, comes at me. I'm like, oh no. And I was like, so I pull my gun out, and here comes this dog. And all of a sudden, I turn my head, I fire 2 rounds, boom, boom. And I look up, dog is gone. I'm like, oh. I see little blood drops.
Wait.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear
You
it yell.
turned your head?
Oh, dude, it was jumping. I thought he was about to hit. I thought he was going to get me in a place I didn't want him
Shouldn't
to
you
get.
be looking where you're
You should
firing?
be. I was never a good shot. Don't worry about it. but there was blood. No, well, if a dog is jumping at you, you're kind of like, you know. Anyway, I hit the dog because there's blood. Let me finish the story, dude. That's the funny part is, yes, I turned my head. And there's video. I'm going to tell you about the video.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Whoa. We didn't have body worn camera
No,
yet.
there's a video from the school across the street.
Okay, gotcha.
So I turned my head, I fired 2 rounds, and the dog is gone. I didn't hear him yell, but I see little blood drops. I'm like, huh. I get on the radio. I'm like, I don't want to say shots fired because there's nothing really going on. I'm like, hey, dispatch, a dog came out. I fired 2 rounds. The dog's not here. Apparently I hit it. There's blood. They're like, you got shots fired? I'm like, okay, yes, I got shots fired. So now everybody's coming. And the neighbor who called comes out. He's like, oh, the dog, right? I go, yeah. You didn't say anything about the dog in the 911 call. He goes, yeah, he chased me into my house. I'm like, you should have told us that. Then I wouldn't have got out of my car until I knew. Anyway, so backup comes. We go in. This lady's sound asleep. She's a good sleeper because her door is open, sound asleep. Dog
Even
is
with the 2 fire shots?
2
in
fire
there?
shots. Yep. Dog is laying by her. I shot the dog in the foot. 2 toes came off. Yeah. It was a pit bull. I said how huge it was. It was probably like 30 pounds. It was a small pit bull.
So it was a puppy.
No, it was. But there's a backstory to this.
No
so,
teeth?
No, it was. There's a backstory to this dog. This dog is like a hero. So this lady moved there. We come to find out. She goes, I moved here because I had a stalker. She's a bartender. And this dog, she went in her apartment. She was probably like 8 months ago, she said. She went in her house. Her dog, she usually kept in the bathroom so he didn't tear up the house.
Yeah.
So she's going through her house and she's like, something's weird. Her like mini blinds were like, you know.
Yeah.
And there was a guy behind there and started attacking her. And she was fighting. She was a pretty fit girl. She fought him off. She got to the door. The dog came out, attacked this guy, and he took off. This is the same dog.
Really?
So
And you shot it?
this dog's fine.
You shot the
dog is
hero.
fine. Yeah, I did. Barely. Because I didn't look. Apparently, I just turned my head.
It was a ricochet.
You didn't want to grab your
It might have
pepper-
been.
You didn't think pepper spray over a gun.
When
No.
you have 3 seconds to
It was
react,
quick, man. That
yeah.
dog came quick. It was, like I said, it was small, but it was fast.
It's a pit bull.
It's a pit bull. But anyway,
So it survived.
it survived. So then I get a call like the next day from the detectives.
Whoa, what happened? And you didn't finish the call. You guys woke her up, and then what?
Oh yeah, she told us a story. She goes, she don't know why her door is open. it wasn't like it hadn't been like kicked in or anything. So she's like, I don't know why it's open. Well, the video they got
the stalker again.
they got video from the
School.
school. So what happens is I get the call around 11:30. About 11:20, a car pulls up. You see it, parks. Guy gets out, puts a mask on, walks up to her door. I don't know how he pried it open, or I don't know how, because there was no forced entry.
Yeah.
And got in, and all of a sudden you see him running out, dog chasing him. He gets in his car and takes off. See the neighbor come home. Neighbor comes, looks, dog comes out, chases him. He runs into his house, closes the garage, calls us. Then I come up like 10 minutes later. I go up, see me back up, 2 shots. Dog runs back up. So this guy had found her, went back to got her, and the dog saved her twice.
And the dog went back into the house.
Dog went back in the house,
said
up to the room.
He was with her, right?
Yeah, and right next to her.
Lying down next to her while she was sleeping.
And I was like, oof.
So strike 3 on the dog, right?
No, so
You
then
got
the next
the
day.
burglar, you got the neighbor, but not you.
No, poor dog had 2. So we went back a couple of days later. Dog had a cast on, and dog was fine, but the dog was like staring at me like, oh.
I know that guy.
Yeah, it was like, well, I'm glad I'm not a good shot and I didn't kill your dog.
Yeah.
This pretty much saved your life twice.
Now I'm glad he turned his head, Derek.
I'm just still wondering why we shot the dog myself.
The
But
dog was coming at me.
and we are, county deputies.
Actually, I shot him in the toe on purpose because I didn't want to hurt him.
Yeah.
He just wanted to give him a nail trim.
So they didn't try to sue you for shooting. You know how
No.
people
No,
are.
he was.
The dog was attacking. The dog was coming at me. He actually, in the video, the dog leaped at me, and that's when I fired 2 rounds, and it went down and then turned around.
So you were cleared. You didn't get a write up or anything.
Man, that sucks because on those internal affairs comes out for those.
This was a long time ago. This was back in the.
Did they even do anything like that?
No, they just investigated.
They
I
investigated
mean,
it.
because because it was just a dog and not a
Yeah.
person,
Right.
you didn't get your gun. For a
No,
lot of people
no,
that don't know,
no.
when you're involved in a
Nothing like
shooting, they take.
With the human, yes.
But,
but with the
for
dog.
no.
No.
No, it
They
was.
give you your gun
So
back
did
right
a
away.
sergeant
they
come
didn't count
out or
down,
something and
check
just make
the-
sure?
They just-
Yeah, everybody came out. Yeah, it came out and counted all my ammo, made sure everything was right.
Read him his
Fired
rights.
No, they didn't. And the next day, like the who is it? The
Who was your
emotional.
sergeant at the time?
Oh, who was my sergeant at the time? Steve Merriweather, maybe.
Steve? Oh, he's cool.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, and funny is that you know Casey Pierre?
Yeah.
So my phone rings. I'm waiting for everybody to come, and he's like, somebody calls. He's like, hey, this is the watch commander. And I'm like, hey, what's up? What's going on? What happened? I go, hey, well, a dog came out, and I fired 2 rounds. He's like, son, calm down. I'm like, I am calm. He goes, no, just calm down. Just tell me what happened. I'm like, dog came out. He goes, so you fired at a dog? I go, yeah. He goes, well, I need you to calm down and take a breath. I'm like, who is this? And it was him messing with me. I'm like, hey, man, this is not the time to mess with me, man. I don't know. I didn't even realize I shot the 2 rounds, to be honest with you, because it was so
Did the
quick.
PPA bring out the mobile?
No. Pete called me the next day, asked me how I was. I was like, ooh, can I get some time off?
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm fine.
I need to see a psychiatrist.
Right. Yep.
I almost killed a hero dog.
Yeah. And yeah, the
You know what
dog.
they call him, right?
Yeah, sea dog. I heard that.
No, but why?
Cat dog.
Cat dog.
Because
There you
of,
go.
because of that.
All right. So this episode's coming to an end. We thank you. We're going to do 2 episodes like we always do with guests, or hopefully 2,
Maybe
not
3.
3. I don't know.
Jerry
The
ain't got to go
stories,
home
you know.
today.
So again, hit like, subscribe, and share.
Check out
Yeah.
Christian Men Unscripted.
Yes,
And
Jerry-
watch it. Don't
Jerry-
just subscribe.
Well,
watch
listen,
it.
Listen.
to it. That one you can
Watch it
listen
soon.
'cause,
No,
Watch
no, no.
Spotify, Apple,
Yeah.
any place.
but
It's not
the
on video
watching's
yet.
not video's not.
Oh,
on
it's
yet.
not a face for video.
Okay, so
Sorry, guys.
just
Watch
audio
ours,
for now.
listen to his.
Yeah.
Then subscribe.
All right.
All right.
Again,
Thanks
peace
for
out.
having me.
Peace. Have a good week.
story time.